This is R.J. Regan, the trucker dad, coming at you on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Beautiful day here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was thinking we've all heard the soft, sanitized story of Thanksgiving. The one where the pilgrims were clueless wussies, starving, who had to be rescued by the friendly Indians who taught them how to grow corn and shoot turkeys. It's a nice little campfire tale, but miles away from the real reason Thanksgiving exists. The truth is much harder, raw, and a whole lot more American. The Pilgrims weren't helpless victims. The Pilgrims were rebels. They were Christian men and women who refused to bow to King James and the Church of England. Back in the early 1600s, if you worshipped outside the state's authority, you were hunted down, jailed, and even killed. These people wanted one thing: the freedom to worship God without a tyrannical king holding a sword and saying, "You will worship God this way or else." So they walked away from everything they'd ever known, first to Holland, and then, after about 11 years, 40 of them made the call every rugged man understands: risk everything for freedom or die slowly under someone else's rule. Then on August 1st, 1620, they boarded the Mayflower, 102 souls on a ship the size of a modern-day fishing boat, and they sailed straight into the unknown. Led by William Bradford, they wrote the Mayflower Compact, a set of just and equal laws inspired straight from the Bible. These weren't tourists. They were warriors of faith who believed God himself was leading them. When they landed in November, New England wasn't cozy. It was brutal. No houses, no friends, no backup plan. Just cold, wind, wilderness. And a God they trusted more than they trusted their own comfort. That first winter almost broke them. Half the colony died, including Bradford's wife. By spring, they'd met the local Indians, who did help them learn the land, but life still wasn't working. They weren't thriving. They weren't prospering. They were stuck. And here's the part your school books conveniently forgot. The Pilgrims' real problem wasn't the land. It was their mindset. It was their beliefs about human nature that were off. And they trusted a broken, unrealistic system of socialism that ignored how people actually work and live. Their sponsors in London forced them into a communal setup. Shared land, equal crops, equal shares for everyone, no matter how much they worked. In other words, equal outcomes for all. It sounded fair. It was a disaster. The hardworking men busted their backs while the slackers coasted, and everybody got the same payout anyway. Resentment, laziness, and frustration set in, and Bradford saw the truth in real time. Forced equality kills motivation. It ruins the best and rewards the worst. So he made a bold move. He scrapped socialism right there in 1623 and invented American free enterprise. Every family got their own land, their own crops, their own reward. You work, you eat. You hustle, you prosper. You slack, and you starve. Bradford wrote in his journal, "This had very good success. It made all hands industrious. Suddenly, men planted more, built more, produced more. They had skin in the game. And guess what happened? Abundance, prosperity, surplus, trade with the Indians, settlements growing, and debts paid off. More families coming to America for the same freedom. This wasn't genocide. It wasn't the colonists versus the natives in some Hollywood myth. This was two peoples learning how to trade, interact, and thrive in a harsh new world. And when the first Thanksgiving came, they weren't primarily thanking the Indians. They were thanking God, thanking Him for freedom, for survival, for provision, for a system that rewarded grit, not laziness, for the courage to build a new life in a new world. Over 150 years later, on October 3rd, 1789, President George Washington declared the first National Day of Thanksgiving in America. He declared it a day set aside to humble themselves before their Creator and acknowledge everything we have comes from God's hand. That's the real story. Hard, honest, biblical, and all-American. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I love you. This is the Trucker Dad.